let me first.
All right, welcome everybody to Deepa's Kitchen. Deepa is from Nepal, and I think the first time I had her food was at one of the big, well, I don't know, but we've been friends and we're both in Rotary. And all right, that's my introduction. Good enough, Deepa?
Yes, thank
There's
you.
people from all over the United States here.
Shall I make her big so that everybody has to see her?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pin her so we can see her.
Carbondale too.
Yeah, so here's my husband who would be helping me out with all like camera settings and sometimes cutting maybe. So today I'll be making dumplings of spinach, tofu, cabbage, one carrot, and onions, I guess. Yeah, so these.
I'm gonna put green beans in mine
Okay.
because I got some good green beans at the farmer's market.
So let's start with dough. Like if we have like bought from store, then we can use egg rolls or dumpling wraps. And if somebody wants me to like make dough from scratch, I can make that too. So it's up to you if you guys want me to make like dough from scratch.
I probably wouldn't make mine from scratch.
I'd like to know, but I don't know if I want to do it.
I agree with Or. I would
Pretty
like to
easy.
know, but I'm never going to do it.
Make it
It's
easy
very-
on yourself.
I think we're unanimous in this opinion.
Okay.
But I would make it by scratch. I don't know. But is
Okay,
it
I mean, it doesn't take like more than,
right?
I would say I can like do it like really very fast. And then
You don't have to make it as long as I don't know. Maybe just describing what you do is good
Oh,
enough
okay.
for us. Yeah. So you don't have to get your hands dirty with it.
Thank you.
Oh, tell me
So
how to
it-
make it so flat, like if you're making it from scratch. The dumpling.
You need to roll out like really thin, like a pastry kind of thing. What you do is you put all-purpose flour, water, and make a dough. Just that, and just roll it in smaller, like really small pieces, and then just roll it out, and then just stretch it out.
Oh,
So-
I know how to do that.
So this is what we use in Nepal, basically to roll out like chapati, naan, or like whatever, like to roll out. So we have this in like every kitchen back in Nepal. This is to put, and then this is a roller we use.
So you're rolling them out one at a time rather than like cutting them out like cookies or something. Yeah.
Yes, because I think we are used to doing that, so it feels easier because we can do it in like 5 goes, so it's much easier than like
Okay.
rolling.
So it's a
long.
little small ball of dough that you're rolling out. They're
Yes.
all about the same size, more or
Yes.
less. Yeah.
Yeah, around that. And the size would be this size. So this is like a perfect size for one dumpling. We call it momo. So I want to start with blanching the spinach for, I would say, 2 minutes. So let me just heat up the water. So this is my kitchen. We can actually cook, like use it as a raw, but I like to blanch so that we don't have this raw flavor in my dumpling. So that's why I like to blanch it. So till then the water is like boiling, I will try to make chutney or like sauce for my dumplings. For that, I would be needing tomatoes, around 4. Okay. And I will just roughly chop it. Like, we just don't have to like cook it thoroughly. We just need like, it just need to be heated and it should be a little bit mushy kind of thing. So all we can do is like roughly chop it.
So most of the stuff that goes in there doesn't have to be pre-cooked because you're cooking it when you steam it.
Yes, I'm just cooking. I would be blanching spinach and mushrooms because I don't like those raw kind of cakes. I think like they overpower to everything else. So I just like to like blanch it and then just cut it small or just put it in a food processor or a cutter or something. So these are for tomato sauce. We will be using to eat momos. And I will be cutting onions in similar sizes. I don't need this to be like really fine pieces because at the end I will be blending all of them after they are cooked. So
How are you gonna, if you're gonna blend all that, is it a food processor or something you're gonna use to do that, or an immersion blender or something?
yeah, it works in anything because it depends. Like if you want like really thin, then maybe a blender. If you want like a chunky, then a food processor would be also.
Okay, yeah. I
So
got
it
a
doesn't
little,
really, yeah, it doesn't really matter.
okay.
So I'll be using one big onion for this.
Now, is that for the inside the dumplings or the sauce?
For the sauce.
Okay. Yeah, because
Um,
I absolutely love this sauce. I make this sauce and I use it for
Oh,
everything.
thank
It's
you.
like my salsa, but yeah.
Uh-huh. So it's up to you. If you like onion, then you can use bigger one or smaller one. So I think I'll go with smaller. I think I'll use that in a dumpling. So we can like roughly chop this too.
And I actually take a shortcut. Instead of doing the whole tomatoes, I buy the canned diced fire roasted. Because you told
Nice.
me they're really good if you roast them on the fire first before you do them. So I
Yeah.
just buy the ones already fire roasted. And this
So
is
if you're
chunky.
making sauce, then you could use the juice too, is that right? Or not?
Yeah, I mean, you're basically making like a thick, like a really thick pasta sauce with a lot of texture.
Uh-huh.
That it's got, the onions and give it a lot of texture.
I'm just thinking if the juice, would the juice make it too thin or not? There's some juice in the chopped tomato in the can.
Well, like actually, if you put whole tomatoes, at least the ones I buy from the farmer's market, they tend to be way juicier.
Yeah, they got plenty of juice. Yeah.
I did that the other day. I had like 3 tomatoes that were almost too ripe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just chopped them up and put them in soup and they like literally disappeared, but it made the soup thicker.
So I'll be using ginger for this, like on both, like for dumplings and for sauce. Also, a ginger like brings really nice flavor to both.
You peeled your ginger, huh?
Yeah, I like it. I feel easy feeling. It's
I'm
up to
too
you.
lazy. I just chopped the whole thing up and
But
I
like
get
it. Yeah.
I get what do you call it? I get the ginger and turmeric from a local farmer that's organic, so I don't have to
Wow.
worry about chemicals on the outside.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
this
really-
is like store-bought, so.
I'm really lazy, so I get garlic ginger paste from the Indian stores.
I'm butting in to say Brian in Los Angeles has a good question that I think will appeal to a lot of people. He wants to know if they can get a link to the sauce recipe at a later time.
So it's actually in the event, the recipe for the dumplings, the recipe for the wraps, and the recipe for the sauce are all in the event.
I see the recipe for the dumpling skins, and I see the recipe for the momo's stuffing.
Oh, did I not include the sauce? Well, if
And
not,
then you refer to Nepali dumpling chutney, but with no recipe.
Oh,
Unless it doesn't have any suggested amounts.
No, I think,
I
yeah.
think the chutney and the sauce, aren't they the same thing or not?
No,
Yeah,
it is.
so-
It's just, Brian, it doesn't have suggested amounts. It's just the ingredient list in general.
Correct.
So
It's
there's an
ingredient
ingredient
list.
list, but no suggested.
right. You
Okay.
put however you want for the flavors you like, right, Deepa?
yes. I mean, if you like tomatoey, then you can put more tomatoes. If you like balanced one, you can put it's up to you. Just make sure salt and sourness is good for you, then everything works. It doesn't have to be specific. We can put whatever amount we want to it.
Like I really like garlic and ginger, so I put a lot.
Me too.
Yeah. So I would like to use, I use 4 tomatoes and 1 medium-sized onion. So I don't know if this is 1.5 inch, maybe, ginger, and 5 cloves of garlic.
Good. Yeah.
So everything is roughly chopped. You don't need, specific amount, or it does, because we're blending, so we don't
See,
need
that's my clove of garlic from the farmer. That's 1 clove.
just
So-
one. Oh,
Yes.
then no 5 for you. Maybe half of it.
That's why, how much do you want?
Can't have too much garlic.
Okay, I'm done with this. I think my water is full,
I have to.
so I will be just and then I just blanch it.
Yeah, I don't really have the patience to wrap the momos, but
Oh.
I definitely make this sauce pretty regularly. And it reminds me a bit of, like an Italian sauce, except it has
Mhm.
a lot of ginger in it.
Okay.
What other things do you like to use your chutney for?
I will
Or
put
both
it
of you,
on.
actually.
I will mix it maybe with some dairy and put it on a salad. It's just, like anytime you're eating something and you want some flavor, I just grab that out, and it's basically, tomato, garlic, onion, and ginger. And that's just
That's what I do with chimichurri. I can eat
But
goes in
or
everything.
then you're adding ginger plus the suggested spices to your taste.
right.
So it definitely has a flavor profile that speaks of the origin.
Yeah, definitely.
Meaning if you're throwing in cardamom, cumin, Szechuan pepper, turmeric, and ginger, it might be one of those sauces you love the flavor of, but it's pretty distinct, not generic.
Yeah, you do want to be careful that, you don't put too much of one thing, because you're really trying to create a blend.
Well, so I pulled up a couple recipes off the internet. Nepali tomato achar,
Oh,
so that I can
Is it
see
mango?
some
tomato.
tomato.
Isn't achar mango?
Yes.
Mango. Oh,
Yes, please clarify what's an acha.
achar is something you could use it could be raw or it could be cooked. So it's morely like a pickle, like you pickle it, but it's tastes like totally different from what we like how we pickle here. It's morely with spices, mostly with mustard seeds, fenugreek seeds, and lots of oil in it. So that would be one. Or if you cook it, you could you make it like sweet. You cook it with sugar or jaggery or something. So it
Yeah, I
depends.
always think of, I mean, I'm not sure if it's right, but I always think of chutney as more on the sweet side.
Oh, yes,
But I
sometimes.
don't, where pickle is more on the tart side. I mean, that's just,
Chutneys don't have to be sweet or
I see.
savory. It's chutneys are, it can be anything. It's just basically our version of a sauce.
Yes.
So if it's got mango though, there's gonna be sweetness from a fruit, if there's fruit in there.
There can be sweetness from the mango.
Well, it could, but like this,
Achar is a pickling. It's a type of pickling that is occurring.
Yeah. Achar in
What
our.
I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find somebody's suggested ratio, so I know what the baseline is to adjust.
so the baseline is basically,
You got 4 tomatoes and an onion, 4 or 5 garlic cloves, an 1.5 or 2-inch piece of ginger. And then the rest of your seasonings, it's just a pinch, Szechuan pepper, cumin, cardamom, black pepper.
Yeah, those are kind of pinch, and then you use lots of sesame seeds if you like.
Okay.
So or peanuts or both. So whatever works for you. Like I would say.
So you're grinding up these sesame seeds with everything else after they're toasted.
I'm cooking together, and then I'll just let it sit for some time, and then I'll just grind everything together.
Okay.
Like I'll cook sesame seeds and peanuts together. Like you can use roasted peanuts or roasted sesame seeds, or you can use like raw sesame seeds as well. So it doesn't really matter.
Watch those sesame seeds when you're roasting them. They go fast.
Yes, they burn.
Don't walk away.
So for those of us who have peanut butter or tahina already.
That works too. I think, yeah, that works really good. So this is like this is a blanched water, but I don't want to throw this because I will be using this to steam my momos later on.
Okay.
So I just like to use that.
oh, you do it just like my mom. She doesn't waste the heat. If she heats water, she figures out how to use it again immediately, so she doesn't have to heat it again.
Yeah.
She never wastes the heat.
Not only that, now it's got flavor in it. And
it's got flavor in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
it has
true.
flavor.
And
So,
wherever the flavor and color are, the vitamins are there too.
It's true. Yeah, you can steam the vegetables and throw them out and drink the liquid.
Uh-oh, there's somebody with longer hair than me.
So these are
Laura's got
like
the line. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
blanched. So it was a
Blanched.
packet, and now it's like this much.
Yeah. Blanched spinach. Yeah.
Blanched spinach. So I need to cut this like very small. It's pretty hot, so I just let it rest for some time. So I will be like cutting it like really smaller ones. So I'm again putting my heat on. So I don't like the mushrooms to be raw. So I just like them to be blanched as well. So I'm just using again to blanch my mushrooms. And I will be using that water too, because the spinach and mushroom flavored water gives like really nice flavor to your wrap, because these are like tasteless. It doesn't have any flavor to it. But if you make your own, you can add like spices in your dough. You can add curry powder or thymes or rosemary, whatever flavor you like. You just
that's a good point. Yeah, you season the dough. Yeah.
Yeah, season the dough, because these are like tasteless, flavorless. So I like using those water just to flavor it out.
Yum. I'm getting hungry.
Fred, I think I'm gonna put one of your Szechuan peppers in.
Oh,
Fred
Oh, that-
sent me
no.
this from
Oh,
California.
no,
He
that's
grew
not a
it.
Szechuan pepper. That's a Thai chili.
Oh,
That's
well,
a,
anyway,
that-
that one's
Brian,
mine
plug it
anyway.
in,
I
see
got
what
that's
the
a
the
t-
flavor is.
yeah, that's
These
a,
are these are ones from Fred in California. He sent me. He grew them.
yeah,
this
that's
is what
a,
it looks like. It's more like
that's a Szechuan
black
peppercorn.
pepper.
It looks
Yeah,
like a peppercorn. Yeah.
It looks like a
peppercorn.
peppercorn, but it's not really in the pepper family.
No,
Do you? I rarely use it. Do you grind it up first, or do you just put it whole in something?
No,
I
I
just
grind
put
it
a
up.
whole.
Well,
Yeah,
you
for
can do it.
cooking my chutney, I just put a whole. I just cook everything together
Oh,
and
because
then
you're
just
blending
blend.
it later anyway.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You can use it, you can grind it in a mortar and pestle, or you can put it in a pepper grinder and grind it.
So, or you're not putting the Szechuan peppercorns in this recipe when you make it.
I am.
You are. Ah, okay. Because when you said I rarely use them,
Yeah, they have very good flavor. They're not hot. I mean, that's a it's a misconception. It's more of a citrusy flavor and
Well, and it makes your
aroma.
lips go numb, so
Yeah,
you
Well,
feel
you get
funny.
tingle. Yeah, that's right. But heat doesn't come from the heat comes from chilies.
So these
And-
are like really watery, so we don't want our dumplings to be like really moist. So I just like to take the water out. Is it there? Oh, it's pretty warm.
And then I really like sesame flavor, so I will either use some toasted sesame oil, just a little bit, or toast sesames and add a little oil.
Oh,
Yeah. A little goes a long way with
Right.
with sesame oil.
I think sesame oil is magic. I love a little bit as well.
Yeah, I like it, but not too much. You don't want too much usually.
So yeah, I'll put like maybe 10% sesame oil and
Yeah.
90% another kind of oil.
Yeah.
so I'm using 1 carrot because carrot has like sweetness in it. So I don't want my dumplings to be like really sweet, like overpowered. But for colors, like they're like really good and they have like flavor too. So I just don't want sweetness to overpower it. So I'm just using 1 medium sized carrot. Yeah. So I'm just cutting in a chunk because I will be a chopper. So to cut it. Or what we can do is like we can use our knife and then cut it like really very small.
You're
Like-
making like toothpick size, or no, that's bigger than that.
No, this thin and then
Oh,
cut it like
Yeah,
really
you-
small.
That's why it's better to put it through a little food processor.
really teeny.
Yeah, very very thin,
Look,
even thinner than this.
it's just like teeny, yeah.
So I like to use that chopper for this.
I just got a little 3-cup little chopper. Yeah, kind of like that one. Exactly.
Yeah, this
Works
works
great.
perfectly.
Exactly. It's just the right size for small batches and stuff.
Yeah,
And it'll do your garlic too.
yeah, yeah. I will use. I don't want garlic like overpowering it, so maybe like
Yeah, yeah.
just too smaller for my dumplings. So I'm using that, and then I have a ginger. Like I like to use lots of ginger in my
Yeah.
dumplings. So this is how much would be this?
1 inch.
1
So-
inch. Okay, it's pretty
That's
huge.
more like
big.
that's more like a 2-inch piece. That look how
Yeah,
thick it
around
is.
2 inches.
Yeah, it's 1 by 1.
So I'm just cutting it a little bit so it's easier for me to.
Where I put the ginger.
And with this.
Ginger.
I have like a large onion, the size. So I will be using 4. And then I have a cabbage, like a medium-sized cabbage. I think this would be good with this, like the ratio would be like better with this.
One onion, one small cabbage.
One, yeah, one kind of medium large onion and then small cabbage.
So you can just chop up any vegetables, just the variety.
Any, but cabbage tends to have like really nice flavor in dumplings, so I recommend this. And I don't recommend like a squash or a zucchini kind of vegetables to this because they are like really mushy. It just gets with it. And the best part is that I'm using tofu in it. And if somebody wants to use, like, we can like crumble this up and then use it. And if somebody wants, they can use ground turkey or any ground meat like ground chicken. So it just goes like really good with it. So if you're vegan, vegetarian, you can use tofu for protein, or else you can use yeah, a tofu.
Chicken or turkey or something. Yeah.
Yes. And other substitute would be like soy chunks. Soy chunks, right? So what we do is we boil soy chunks and then like we can put it in a food processor or chopper and then like chop it.
So I grew up vegetarian and that was our meat of choice. We called it
Oh yeah, that's
TVP.
soy
TVP.
protein. Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
Textured vegetable protein.
Yeah, textured vegetable protein. That's what I was trying to think.
It's
yeah.
literally soybeans that have been cooked already, and then they form them in the shape and they dry them again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pre-cooked soybeans.
Yeah, you can use those
They
for
have
making
no flavor though.
well, you can use it for vegetarian chili.
Oh.
I did that once. I entered a chili eating contest and I made vegetarian chili with, those are big soy chunks. I did the ground beef soy chunks, and I never told them that it was vegetarian. And I got down. I got down to the final round. I didn't win, but I got down to the final round with the vegetarian chili.
Yay.
Great.
But the secret to soy protein is it really has no flavor. So you really want to like soak it in some kind of flavor.
Well, absorbs flavor like eggplant or something like that, which doesn't have much of its own flavor.
I don't think it has, I don't know, any flavor at all. Maybe slightly.
Well, that's right. Yeah. No, that's what you said. It absorbs the flavor that the sauce that it's in.
See, I'm being lazy. I just chopped the whole ginger, skin and all, especially on blending it.
I'm just like dicing the onions, so it's easier to chop. So I'll be chopping it.
That's true. It's much easier to cut it if it's been peeled.
Yeah.
But I used almost all my ginger. I got a bunch from a local farmer, but I just started a new six gallon batch of ginger mead. So I'm almost out. But they just called me yesterday or 2 days ago that they're going to harvest in 3 weeks their ginger.
Wow.
Okay. These are like one whole box of mushrooms. So because this will also like will out, so it will be like this much at the end. It's just for the flavors.
So that's for inside the dumplings, right?
Inside, yeah.
So does it matter what kind of mushrooms?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like it can be anything like this or brown ones, teriyaki mushrooms or oyster mushrooms.
You pretty much have to pick vegetables though that hold good texture, right?
Yes.
So not like ones that disappear, like you said, what zucchini and squash tend to
mushy.
Yeah, mushy kind of like potatoes, zucchini, squash would be like really mushy. So we don't want those in our this, and we can actually use sweet peas as well if we want. And this. So I'm just blanching it out again for some time. So now I have this processor. So I will be okay.
Oh, I just got one of those, the little teeny food processors. I really like
I
it.
got one too, 3 cups, I think it is.
Works
So
perfect for making little batches of sauce like that.
this
Yeah.
is the size you want it to be. You know, like we can get like shredded vegetables. We can use those too because it doesn't like really matter.
Yeah, that's I've been always afraid to make the dumplings because it seems like it takes forever to chop everything so small.
Yeah, but if you have like a processor, this then it's much, you know, like easier. And you can
Yeah,
actually buy shredded vegetables too, and we can just use it. So this is like my second batch of just onions. But I don't want to use the chopper for spinach because it would be like mushy kind of if I like use a chopper. It doesn't
yeah,
chop.
it'll get liquidy.
Yeah, it is liquidy, so I don't want that. So I will be chopping with my knife because it doesn't have to be like very small because it's already that kind of texture. So
Do you ever put like sweet peppers in it or bell peppers?
you can put those too, but I feel like they are like they overpower everything because they have, you know, that flavor. These are more like subtle flavors. So you get flavors of everything. But if we put like sweet pepper, I think they overpower everything because they have like really strong flavor to it. I just like to cut it because it's easier now to cut it because it's like a lump. So
Let's see.
it's done.
Now, do you make dumplings ever just for yourself, or usually it's like something that is made for special occasion?
Mostly for special occasions, but now because we have a chopper, so it's easier to like make for a dinner or for lunch. If we don't have a chopper, then it could be like really hard for us to like cut all those vegetables to like really smaller pieces.
Now, can you make do you guys ever make the dumplings and just like freeze them and save them for later?
Yeah, but I feel like that doesn't taste as good as you make fresh. So
Yeah.
if we want, I think we just like, but yeah, that you can make it and then you can store it in a fridge. It doesn't really matter, but I just like it fresh.
Yeah, I once went to a group of us got together and we did a lumpia party, which is dumplings from Philippines,
Mm.
and then we froze them all. But yeah, it's definitely better just make them and then cook them. And you can cook them in a bunch of different ways. Usually, do you usually just steam them or you bake them or fry them too?
Yeah, yeah. I can teach like two of the methods today, like how to cook. If you don't have a steamer, you can use a saucepan and it has to have a cover. You can make in that way too. But steaming dumplings are much better in taste than the other one.
So
I
what's
just
your
realized the hardest part of a virtual cooking is none of us get to taste it afterwards. I just realized that I was getting really like I'm starting to get more and more excited.
My
And then I
mouth's
realized
watering.
when I go to a normal cooking class, when we're done, the best part is sitting down and eating it.
That's
so
right.
so I have a
So I better
question.
cook mine really well.
I have a question. What is your trick for not crying due to all that onion you just chopped?
You just muted.
You're muted and I can't unmute you. I can only ask you to
Okay.
unmute.
Because I was like using my husband was using a grinder, so I thought like I would try to avoid that.
You made your husband cry?
No, he's helping me chopping this all up. So he's not. I am crying actually by cutting all those onions. So
I have tried every trick in the book for not crying with onions, and I
has
don't,
it worked?
none of them.
Goggles.
Yeah, so
I
I
tried
found,
goggles. They didn't help me.
so
They
even
never
besides
do. Like
goggles,
nothing.
I don't use them either. I just tough it out.
the
I've
one
done the
really
method
simple
where
thing
you
you can
like, you're supposed
do,
to put them in the refrigerator for a little bit,
Yeah, I've heard that too.
yeah, I keep
cut
my
them
onions in the fridge and it
underwater.
really helps.
What helps?
I just store my onions in the fridge because like during the summer they go bad if I leave them at room temperature,
Mhm.
and putting them in the fridge really cuts down on curing.
Or you can just watch a really sad movie beforehand, get all your tears out. When Bambi's mom happens, what happens, and then when you chop the onions, there's nothing left.
I
It's
do
okay,
put
Then you just
You can
have
spoil it
eyes that
for us.
hurt. The point of
Bambi
the
has been out
tears
for
is to
50
get it
years.
out.
I don't
Well,
worry about don't worry about onions, but I put latex gloves on when I do a fresh chili.
Oh yeah.
Because eventually you always forget and stick your finger in your
That's a
eye.
good idea.
Yeah, but
That's no
even with the
fun.
gloves, you can stick your finger in your eye, like I almost did with
Well, that's true, but if you chop it and de-seed it and all that, then you take the gloves off after you're finished with that.
the. Okay.
Not on your hands.
See,
Or-
that's where goggles help. You put the goggles
Oh,
on.
look,
And you can't
is
stick
that
your
your
finger in
steamer
your eye.
basket?
This, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Look,
that's a
it's
modern
huge.
version of the ones that are made of bamboo.
Yeah,
The
you
future.
find these in every Nepalese houses. Over here also, like every Nepalese when you go their houses. These are like the must to have to be like a Nepali. You have to have that in your kitchen.
Right? You stack them up.
No, no. Now I'm crying. I made it through 3 onions, but the 4th one.
Don't stick your finger in your eye, or
Thanks, Fred, for reminding me.
I didn't have any onions. I didn't chop any. I'm having onion-less dumplings.
So Deepa, do you ever just buy like the ginger garlic paste like this? That's like what Fred said he uses.
Yeah, that's the one I use because you use it in all your Indian cooking, for sure.
But I mean that it can't be as good as fresh, of course, because isn't the longer ginger and garlic?
Yeah, but I mean, the convenience of it is it's so handy to just, no matter what you're cooking, you just take a dollop of that and throw it in the pan. And
Oh man, Fred, the idea that you just
no, but ginger has a tendency to be, fibrous unless it's really pulverized. And I don't like that in my cooking. And you can't hardly chop it up fine enough. But boy, when that paste goes through a real grinder, so there's no fiber left in it. That's why I like it mainly.
Fred, the idea that you use pre-made ginger and garlic is making me cry.
Well, Monsi could probably attest to how many shortcuts Indian housewives are making. They're probably using ginger garlic paste.
Yeah, but we make our ginger garlic paste ahead of time.
Okay, well, I don't do that, but that's a good point.
My mom buys when it's on sale, she'll buy all that ginger and then she'll grind it all up or blend it all up and then she'll put it in bags and put them in the freezer.
Well, that's a good point. Now that I have my little food processor, I could do that too. That's a good suggestion.
With garlic, not so much for her, but with ginger, she definitely does that.
So my mushrooms are like boiled, so it's pretty hot. So I would use this in a chopper, like 1 or 2 chop. I don't want this to be like really mushy. So I want this texture. So I will be using a chopper like 2 or 3 times and then it will be like this. Okay, I want to show you like how my, this is how the cabbage should look like really fine. And what you can do is you can add ground turkey or ground chicken to this, and then it will be like, I think it will be like really good. I don't eat meat, so I don't know, but people say like they are like pretty famous in Nepal with chicken or mutton or pork. They use cabbage, ground chicken, ground mutton, or ground pork. Anything goes well with it.
But I mean, aren't a lot of people in Nepal vegetarian?
Yeah, there are like some persons, but now people are adopting more non-vegetarian diet these days. Because before they were not having like a commercial kind of animal raising kind of thing. We have to have our own, or it was like pretty expensive. But nowadays we can meats are pretty cheap because more commercial business owners have like adopted this.
Yeah, people, when they get more affluent, they have a tendency to eat more meat unless they're culturally vegetarian or something.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go now to make chutney.
I think I'm ready to make my chutney.
Okay.
So I haven't seen any spices that are different than, the vegetables at this point, but.
Oh, now I will be adding spices. It's nothing like different. We just use cumin, coriander, and Szechuan, black pepper, and coriander leaf as well. So the flavor actually comes from sesame seeds and this what is that? Peanuts. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So it's more like tomatoes, peanuts, and sesame seeds. So those are the things that make like really nice flavor.
It's kind of nut based, sort of nut based.
Yeah.
So you could use tahini.
Yeah, tahini is like really good option. Yeah,
Yeah.
It is tasty on its own, but if we add it in this, it's really good.
Yeah, again, a little goes a long way. You don't want too much of it, but it's nice for flavor.
So I will be needing a little bit of oil for this. I just use normal cooking canola oil or sunflower oil. But in Nepal, usually we use mustard oil for cooking our vegetables and stuff. Mustard oil is like very popular. So just like 1 tablespoon or 2 teaspoons. So it's up to you, like how much you want. I'm using like 1 tablespoon oil to this. And this needs to be like heated up. It needs to have like a really nice, it's need to be heated up. So it so that the cumins and coriander needs to crackle in this.
That's
Otherwise there will be a taste of uncooked, like a raw oil flavor. You don't want that in your chutney. So you just need to like really heat up.
There's a word for that, but I forget what it is. When you're kind of frying your spices a little bit.
Yeah, I was also
When you
thinking, but I couldn't get the word for that.
Like, yeah, did somebody say tempering? Tempering? Yeah, I guess that's the
you would
word.
say it in English.
Yeah, tempering.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the word.
Okay. Now I can see a little bit of, I feel it's heated up. I'll be using spices now. I don't usually measure my spices. I just go with my instinct.
Yeah.
But I will be using a cumin seed, cumin seed, a half tablespoon, 1 teaspoon. It needs to be crackled.
How do I know when my dumplings are done?
Oops, she froze. Oops.
I didn't get it.
What I said? How do I know when my dumplings are done?
Oh, it takes 7 to 10 minutes to be cooked.
I should have set a timer. Okay, got it.
If you're using meat, it might take 14 minutes, 14. But if you're using vegetables, it's a 7 to 10 minutes. These are coriander seeds. So I like to use coriander seeds. And I have, this is asafoetida, we call it hing. So this has like enhances the flavor. So I like to use just a little bit, like a pinch or something, like a pinch.
Yeah, that's hard to find sometimes. I got that at like a co-op, place where they have lots of spices. Yeah.
This is 1/4 teaspoon kind of turmeric. This is like grounded turmeric.
Yeah.
And this is all I want for now. I need to add my.
So you're putting all that in oil, so you're like flavoring the oil?
Yes, like I'm putting ginger, garlic, and onions to it. I'm cooking it. And if you like spicy, you can add chili too. It's up to you.
Can you guys smell that?
Yeah, it smells great.
Thank you. I wish I could.
I can't smell it. Do I have coronavirus?
Yeah.
Well, it's all coated. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
we
yellow.
could see it. Yeah,
yeah, it's
from the turmeric. Turmeric.
yeah.
So that's how I make my rice is I put all that together, I fry it a little bit, and then I put the rice in there and toast the rice and then add water.
Now I will be adding tomatoes to this.
Do you always do fresh tomatoes or you ever do canned?
Yeah, mostly fresh. So these are tomatoes.
Because in Nepal, do you have much canned vegetables? It's all fresh.
We don't get anything canned unless it's like something exotic, like what we don't find in our country.
It's
Except that
expensive.
nobody, nobody
Expensive.
buys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, canned tomatoes, I must say, are pretty good.
Yeah. And salt, after putting tomatoes, you want to spice it up. So how much? Like as much as you like. You can always add more salt, so it's better not to use like one.
You can't take out the salt.
Yeah. But tomatoes tend to have like a sourness and sweetness, so it's better like if you add a little bit more, it doesn't go.
Yeah, what is the thing when you get too much salt? Do you add lemon? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, lemon, sometimes potatoes also help. Potatoes tend to absorb a salt.
Okay.
And
so if you, my father, we had a restaurant. My father would always say, I stubbed my toe on the salt. Like, oops, I put too much in that I planned.
So now I'll be adding sesame seeds. Okay, I have a sesame seed. We can use like a 1/4 cup for like 4 tomatoes. So 1/4 cup of sesame. Or
Those are raw sesame seeds. You ever?
yeah, these are raw.
Like growing up, we always bought toasted ones already, pre-toasted.
Or you can toast them, but like I say, you got to watch them, otherwise they burn really quick.
Yeah. But because we are cooking everything, so it doesn't have to be toasted.
Yeah.
But if I was like grinding, like making a raw chutney of tomatoes, I would have like toasted. And I have a roasted peanuts, so I will be adding that. There's also like 1/4 cup of peanuts.
What's that?
Peanuts.
Oh, peanuts. Okay, got it. Yeah. Yep.
These are like roasted peanuts. So I want to show you how it looks like.
Yeah.
You guys can see this. It's
Nice.
cooking.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
this is the color you get after adding turmeric to this.
Yeah. And you're going to process it? You're going to process this?
Yeah, later on.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have a bunch of cilantro.
Yeah. Same plant as coriander.
Yeah, coriander. These are like, they have like really nice flavors. So I just chop them like roughly because I will be like blending it later on. So I don't want.
Yeah.
Did you say you like using mustard oil?
Yeah, mustard oil. I mean, in Nepal, whatever we cook, we always use mustard oil. It's kind of really popular. thing.
So I have some mustard powder. Could I
Oh,
add that? I mean, it
That's-
smells really strong.
You're not
It
thinking
does.
about like Coleman's mustard where you add water and now you have mustard. That's different.
No, this is
Yeah.
like, if I put a little finger of this in on my tongue, I'll start crying. It's poignant.
Well, I have like yellow mustard seeds and brown mustard seeds, which are used in Indian cooking. And
I mean, to me, this tastes more like horseradish than mustard.
yeah, so yeah, that's probably because as Americans we have this in our mind
you
what
got the good peppers. Look at
mustard
those
tastes
peppers.
like
Those are
serrano, serrano, look like serrano chilies.
No, they're too
these are
small for
like
that.
smaller chilies. I don't know what we call over here, but these are like the chilies we use back home. I found this in international grocery.
That looks like a little Thai chili.
Thai chili.
Oh, Thai chili? Yeah, Thai
Yeah.
chili.
Yeah,
So-
if you're in the Asian store, but you could use serranos that you can get in the regular grocery store probably.
I like my chutney to be like really hot, so I'm using 4, 5, 6, 7.
I'm crying just thinking.
Keeps you warm in the wintertime.
Keeps you
winter,
warm
yeah.
in the winter. That's true.
Cool in the summer.
So I'm just roughly chopping them like this. I'll just add this to my pot.
Don't put your finger in your eye. That's where I put my gloves on, right there.
This I don't find it like really because I grew up eating those, so I don't find it like really hot. I find it pleasing. So
There used to be a Indian restaurant up in West LA or in Wilshire where they had a ladder that you could sign up and you could see how hot you could eat your Indian food. You'd have your name.
wow.
Joe ate number 7, and Bill, he ate number 10, and they would go see who could eat the hottest food.
And I'm out of it in this box, but this is curry spices, like mixed curry spices. This is actually from my home. We have a spices factory, so I actually bought it from Nepal. But we can find it in any stores like cumin, coriander kind of mixer or something.
Curry powder.
You might want to like
curry
just
powder, yeah.
throw it in like a teaspoon of it. And I have another thing to throw in. This is like we find it momo spices here in international grocery. So I will be adding like a teaspoon.
Momo masala.
Half teaspoon. This is a momos. Like you can find it in international grocery everywhere, I guess. So they have like really nice. And I will be adding now I'll be adding Szechuan seeds. A teaspoon, maybe. A teaspoon, yeah. I like this papery feel, so I'm just adding a little bit more, but it's good. Like this teaspoon is fine.
It's a
And
nice
I have a
flavor.
black pepper, yeah. Black peppercorn. A teaspoon of these too.
Those were the black peppercorn?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to spice it up, these are like everything is optional. The important thing is like you have to put tomatoes, onions, garlic, and a little bit of cumin if you have it, and sesame seeds and peanuts. So those are like the most important. And if you have like Szechuan, then it's fine. Otherwise, you can add a little bit more of black pepper to have that feel. it doesn't work perfectly, but it's like a substitute. And if you want to spice it up, you can add cloves, like 2 small cloves and 1 cardamom or something like that. Have cloves and cardamom. Just 1 or 2 cardamom to this, and not more than 2 cloves. Otherwise, it will like overpower. The cloves will like overpower your chutney. So just 2 of them, and cardamom. So I'll just add this.
Nice.
Now the texture is this. It's cooked now. So let me add this cilantro to this.
Wow, it's a lot of ingredients. It's nice.
Yeah,
these
it's
are
a lot. It's a lot of ingredients and it's a lot of each thing. I wouldn't think to put so much of each thing because I would think
No,
one flavor would overpower the other.
These are like optionals. You know, this is how we make it. The most important are just those like onion, garlic, and tomatoes, sesame seeds, peanuts, and a little bit of those like cumin seeds or whatever we have, like black pepper. So this works fine, but this is like we have this in our kitchen always, so we are using this. Otherwise, if you don't have it, we can like always skip it.
Yeah, I have a tendency to put more things in rather than less things.
So I'll just put it off the heat now. I just want this to cool down a little bit so that
Aha, the steamer.
yeah.
This I'm interested in.
Okay, now I want, oh, I need to like get done of this actually.
That's a
I
cabbage?
need to grind more of this. I have like this much left, so I will grind this, and 1 portion of like I have mushrooms to grind as well, so I will be grinding that too. So what I do is I like to put a little bit of salt in this so that the water, the moisture just comes out of it.
Yeah.
So
is that just the tofu?
No, these are like cabbage. Cabbage, because it has lots of moisture in it, and then because when you're making dumplings, you don't want like all mushy, like all the moisture from inside. The steam will be outside, so you just want this to.
Yeah, that's what you do with eggplant. You also salt eggplant to draw out the moisture so it's not too mushy.
So you try to have as little moisture in the center of the dumpling as possible, right?
Yes. So I'm just putting.
Yeah, the salt draws out the moisture.
I'm like mixing everything with salt.
So let's see, cabbage, onions, spinach, carrots, mushrooms.
And mushrooms I have to still needs to be grinded, so just they need.
Wow, yum.
And this they already have ginger and garlic to it. Yes.
I love how colorful it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I have to remind myself every vegetable in there is something that has a lot of texture and not much moisture. Except, I don't know, spinach and mushrooms don't have much texture.
She wrang out her spinach after she parboiled it.
Oh, okay.
She squeezed the moisture. She squeezed the moisture out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, if you really wanted, I mean, you could take this mixture and put it like in a you know, a pastry piping thing or something if you really wanted to
Did you
squeeze
see
all the
that? She's
moisture
such a
out.
professional cook. She turned off her mic when they ground it. I did the same thing. I went to grind it and I was like, probably should shut this mic off for a second.
How do you know you're grinding?
Huh?
Yeah, so my husband is helping me grinding. So whenever he's using that machine, I'm just muting myself so that that sound doesn't distract the conversation.
Wow. This is great stuff.
So, I mean, that looks like a lot of filling for that you would make like a lot of dumplings for that. Because I think the hardest part for me when I was practicing with some people to make the dumplings is just like, you know, you put too much stuff in your taco, it falls apart. I tend to put too much stuff in.
Yeah, well, she did kind of measure it at the beginning of how, you know, she had one kind of a head of cabbage that was quite a bit. And
So this is the texture of mushroom you get. Like
Yeah.
2 or 3, not more than that. Otherwise, it would be like really watery, like a spinach. So because I
Yeah.
already blanched it, so you don't want to cook it.
yeah, mushrooms are like 90% water.
Yeah. So I'm done with like cutting all the vegetables. Now I'm just mixing it. And yeah, it's fine. So what I'll be doing is
This is completely different. Tomorrow morning, I'm helping making chicken and dumplings, and the dumplings there are literally water, oil, and flour. It's just like this ball of dough.
Yeah. They're not filled with anything.
It's like,
this is the tofu.
oh, that's some nice thick tofu.
Yeah, this is 554 grams. I'm using like 1/3 of it. I'll just crumble it off.
Wow.
So that's firm tofu. You can see it's got real firm texture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
it's good perform.
now,
But
have you ever frozen the tofu and then used it? It gives it more chewy texture.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
But what I like to do is I would like to, you know, like get the juice out.
Again, more liquid, getting rid of more liquid.
Yeah, because I put a salt in it. So it's like all the
The
liquid
salt's,
coming.
yeah, the salt's drawing out the liquid out of the cabbage and other things.
Yeah. So you don't want it to be like very dry, but you want like some of the liquid to come out.
Like I say, you could put that all in a piece of cheesecloth and kind of wrap it up and squeeze it all out.
Oh yeah, thank you. I just remembered I could do that. I never did it, but yeah, thank you. So you know, like we use so much of vegetables, but we will be left with like just a little because it's all water-based vegetables. But I will be using this in my steamer, so this doesn't go waste. Just to let everybody know, it has like lots of flavor in it, so I don't want this to go waste.
Yeah, your dumplings would get all soggy if it had too much moisture in there.
It has like lots of moisture in it. I can show you.
I mean, if you, whoa, wow, look how much water.
Yeah.
So if you use that with that much moisture and deep fried one, would it make?
Yeah. Yeah, because we are steaming this, so we don't want like moisture to be out and in. Otherwise, it would be like it doesn't.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot of moisture in there. And that's because you added the salt in there to bring out that moisture.
Yes, it actually helps. So I'm using this in a steamer.
Ken said he made a steamer tray with wire cutters from a trivet. You got a picture of it? You want to show it to us?
Steamer?
That sounds. He made a steamer.
Oh.
I don't know if he could. share a picture of it. That's like,
He's showing it right now.
can you pin it? Let's see.
Huh.
Can I pin it?
We got a gallery.
Oh, nice. That is pretty clever, actually.
Oh.
That was.
So now I'll just crumble up my tofu. At this time, you can add your ground meat and then everything, like just mix it together.
So I grew up eating a lot of tofu, and what we would do is we would freeze it, and then you squeeze all the moisture out of it.
Yeah.
And it's more like a sponge, really chewy texture.
Oh.
I don't think it would work very well for what you're doing. But if you wanted chunks in like something, it just gives a much more chewy texture.
And you know what? What you can do is like you can add a little bit of cheese to this. That brings like really nice flavor in this dumplings if you want to.
Like any kind of cheese?
Any kind of cheese, like mozzarella would be much better, but any kind of cheese. I mean, that's what I figured it out. Nobody does that in Nepal, but I tried it once and I really liked it.
So dairy's not that big in Asian cooking, I don't think.
No, we mostly drink it. We like to drink it like milk or we call it curd, but here we make yogurt. But in our area, it's more like a curd than a yogurt.
I know
that. You can see how dry that is. That's nice.
Yeah. So now I will be adding a little bit of spices to this. I have like this momo masala, like this is momo spices, but we can add like whatever spices we have, like cumin powder, ground cumin, ground coriander. So that also works, but it is like more flavorful. So you can add like a 1 teaspoon or 1.5 teaspoon. So it's up to you. Like if you're adding cumin powder, you can add the similar, like ground cumin would be much better, I think.
So we have one of the dumpling houses in LA that does a cheeseburger dumpling with ground beef.
That sounds horrible, but like I want to try it so bad.
I admit to not having tried it yet.
Anything that improves a hamburger would be welcome.
I don't know, Fred. I like a homemade grilled burger, medium rare, cheese melted on top. To me, that's an awesome meal. Not a fast food thin burger, but a thick homemade one.
Yeah. I don't eat too much. I'm not a vegetarian, but I don't eat too much red meat. So
I probably do a burger about once a month.
That's about right. Yeah.
I'm just cleaning up my plate. I need to do that.
I might try the impossible. Is it what we talked about it earlier today about the substitute
alt meats?
Alt meat, yeah.
Yeah, they're great. I met them at Las Vegas.
More salt to this for seasoning.
I guess, I mean, you could taste that. I mean, even though there's nothing, I mean, in your case, there's not raw meat in it, so you could literally taste what it tastes like.
Yeah, but what I like to do is like in our kitchens, we don't actually taste it until it's cooked. It's all like in the wine.
Well, because
it will taste different when it cooked. Right. I mean,
but you're making something you've made before, so you know what the flavor profile is going to be.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
For the rest of us, we need to taste the first time or two, so we know.
We're going along, yeah.
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 But I mean, so common practice, like if you're making meatballs or you're making some meat something, you would just get a little bit and just fry that so it's cooked and then taste it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like yours, because it's tofu, you could actually taste it and it wouldn't be bad for you. But if it was turkey or chicken, you'd have to cook that little bit to taste it.
That's right. Yeah.
And I would like to add a little bit of oil to this. I have a grapeseed oil. You can add olive oil or like flavorless kind of oil, anything. Just a little bit, like 1 tablespoon.
Can you add ghee to it?
No, because
I've been
ghee
saving
might.
this joke. I've been saving this joke. Thank you for saying no, but I mean, thank you for clarifying that we don't.
Oh, no pun intended.
Ha ha ha.
So this oil just to give it a little where it sticks together?
Yes, yes. It just
But
binds.
do you ever use eggs to stick it together, or that's never do that?
Never, like
Okay.
never. I mean, I don't. In Nepal, if you're vegetarian, you don't do eggs. So.
See, vegetarians in the U.S. usually eat eggs. It's kind of a.
Yeah,
Some do and some don't. Yeah.
You know, whenever I go to some places and then there's a vegetarian and then they have eggs in it, and it's like, oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, there's, what do they call them? Ovo vegetarians or something where they don't eat meat, but they,
vegetarian.
yeah, some they eat milk and egg products, but some
That's
true
a-
vegetarians don't eat either of those. I think.
That would be true vegan.
Yeah,
True vegan is if you don't do lacto ovo. If you
don't
just
do any-
do if you do
No
eat
animal
dairy,
no animal products.
if you do eat dairy, then you're a lacto vegetarian. If you do eat eggs, then you're ovo vegetarian.
I'm kind of a pescatarian.
Animal products, you're plant-based, but if you don't encounter or have a lifestyle that involves animal products or byproducts, then you're vegan.
Was this suggested for a trivia category?
And you don't have leather shoes or a leather belt.
Yeah, that's vegan. Vegan is a whole lifestyle versus a dietary. The dietary is called plant-based.
So my family grew up vegan, except whatever we could grow or harvest. So we would have someone give us like a deer once a year or something like that. But we didn't have refrigeration, so we didn't have a way to store most of that stuff. I wish when I was younger, I knew how to make ghee, because we would have made that, and because you don't need refrigeration for.
Yeah, that's why in third world countries, you know, you go places and they got live. You want a chicken, they got a live chicken, and then you take that chicken home and, you know, wring its neck and pluck it and you cook it because you have no way to refrigerate it.
They have that here in LA.
Yeah.
This is a steamer.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have like 3 of these. So this is what
How many can you stack up? Can you put like 10?
Yeah, you can actually, but 4 or 5 would be much better because it would take time to be like cook the 10th one.
Might fall over.
So the one on the bottom will be cooked too much and the one on the top won't be cooked.
Yeah. So let me show you like my steaming liquid. So this is how it looks like because I used all those like, you know, the juices and stuff. So I will like put it in medium heat because you want your just to be steamed like really good. This dumplings, you don't want it to be like it needs to be cooked on a steam. So you need
So the liquid is the leftover from making the spinach and everything you squeezed out.
Yeah.
Are you gonna reduce that? Reduce it by, you know, cooking it till it's thicker?
No.
No, we don't have to, but it gets reduced in a cooking process itself because after coming out all the steams. But the thing is like if we don't steam it properly before doing like putting all these dumplings in, it might get soggy. And what we do is we butter it up a little bit so that it doesn't stick on this aluminum thing.
Okay.
But if we are using like a steel or maybe bamboo, then I think it doesn't stick. But we are like never sure of aluminum, so we just like to like put a little bit of butter just to make sure that nothing sticks.
Was
I'm
that just a big chunk of butter?
Of that liquid, so it just steams up, and then I'll be adding those.
I
Yeah,
kind of
it's a
like
big-
the
it's a
old
big chunk of
bamboo
butter.
ones.
I heard someone trying to ask a question. What was it?
Yeah,
I
it
was
is a
just
big
wondering
chunk
if
of
that was a
butter.
big block of butter you were.
Oh yeah, it was originally a pound of butter and you've been using it, huh?
Yeah, because it was a big, like a chunk, so I like to use this that way.
So I mean, is butter the only animal product, or you use milk?
We can use like oil to this. I mean, butter is not necessarily.
No, but I mean what you eat. Do you?
Because
You
the
said
butter
you're
is an animal
vegetarian.
product.
Butter, milk, anything dairy, I eat it. It just like
Okay.
I don't eat eggs, but I'm vegetarian who doesn't eat eggs, just that.
Oh,
Except
okay.
that I eat like honey and everything.
So,
I'm just buttering up.
so
Okay.
most cultures say you can never have enough butter.
Especially French cooking.
But I mean, that tends to be most cooks learned originally from, that were French, most restaurant styles until I want to say the 50s.
Okay, now I'm taking a little bit of water because if you're making your own dumplings, this dough, you don't need to water it up, but these are like store-bought, so we never know, like we might need some water.
They probably make them really dry so that they don't stick together when you buy them.
Yeah, something like that.
So can you show me what one wrapper looks like?
Like this.
Okay, so
Like 3 inches, 2.5 inches.
I remember how hard it is to fill. They're so small.
Oh, you just use a spoon.
One
Take a
spoonful.
spoon, like just
There you
put
go.
it in the middle, and you might
Squeeze it
want
around.
to water it up,
Ah,
and then just close it, and
pinch
then
it.
you can make like your own designs, whatever you like.
She just makes it look so easy. Just
There
like
it is. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I do that and it just falls apart.
Pinching
So
the end of that is my nemesis.
What is?
or you can like close this and make like.
Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that.
So the first one was like Chinese style dumpling, and then this is like momo style where you make it a circle.
Yeah.
And more fit, maybe more fit in the thing.
Oh yeah, that's true. You could fit a lot more in the steamer basket this way.
Yeah, my husband is helping me. So it doesn't have to be like perfect. It just needs to be close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it fits. Like if we are making that smaller, it fits more.
They're
I
so
gotta find a
cute.
place near me that delivers dumplings.
He's like, I'm not making it. Now that I've seen the whole process, I'm just gonna have someone deliver it.
So we usually make it in occasions so that like there are like many people around us, and then we just talk, and then like.
Yeah, I'm throwing one of those parties when the coronavirus is gone because I'm not making these just by myself.
So growing up, we made dumplings when we had a group of family members together, and everybody would sit around stuffing dumplings until there were
There you
hundreds and
go.
hundreds of them.
Yeah.
Really, like this style, or what did you
Yeah,
put in?
we did this style. We did a couple different styles. We did a Chinese pork leek and cabbage.
Oh.
But we also did a like a Northern European or Eastern European onion potato.
Like a potato dumpling?
Yeah, a pierogi.
Oh.
Is a pierogi still the same kind of outside and just inside's potatoes, or is it actually potato flour?
Ours was a wheat flour wrapper.
Okay.
And when we got lazy, we would use the leftover wonton wrappers instead of making the dough. But I still have my dad's pasta machine. Now I have 2 of them. Because that was a father thing, not my mother.
Deepa, on the next one, can you, when you fold it up Can you do it a little bit closer and slower so we can see how you're doing it?
Yes, please, slower, because that was way too fast the first time.
So
The
she
first
wets
time
the edge, wetting the edge.
Yeah.
she's going really
half
slow.
of it, and then sorry.
Howard,
And
just
you just
remember,
put
you go nice and slow,
A
wet,
spoon.
wet and ready.
Okay, guys, let her talk.
No way, I
just
speed
put
through it
this
fast as
in
I can.
between, and then like a spoonful, and then like just tap it in. Yeah, like a taco.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, like a taco, and then you just put this like this corner like in, so you
Oh,
just
cool.
have you need to close it.
Okay, so you have to tuck that in.
Yeah, and then you see like a bump over here, so you just make it like a pedal or something. I don't know what
Oh,
you
that's
call
different.
it.
So
Yeah, that is different.
That's some origami right there.
And then
origami.
you just need to fold this, like see the crease. You just make a crease out of it, and
It's like
see,
pleated.
pleat,
In
yeah.
English, we say
And then
pleated. Yeah.
at the end again, we just need to like fold this in between,
Tuck it in.
tuck it in. And then,
Oh man, so that's completely different how I've done it. I just fold it in
Yeah.
half and then try to squeeze it together. I just fold it in half and kind of go doop 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 doop.
And then
Oh,
she
it's
brings
good.
then you bring the ends around.
so it's in, and then what you can do is like just from in middle. It's optional. Like just try to make it like a little bit prettier. We can like close this end.
Cool.
Thanks for showing us.
Yeah, that
Origami,
was really cool.
origami dumplings.
So
Exactly, origami dumplings. Yeah, very cool.
So how many hundreds of thousands of those did you have to make before you thought you were good at it?
actually not many. I don't know how. Like I did it in like second or third time. So it looks like really hard, but if you start making like in a second batch, you will be like a pro. I'm pretty sure. It says I'm lying, but no.
One thing to keep in mind is you want to use plenty of water when you're wetting the outside. Because if you don't, then it's too dry and it doesn't stick and you have to do it again and it just starts crumbling.
You don't want them to come unwrapped in the steamer.
Yeah.
So last October, my cookbook club did a dumpling party.
Yeah, I could see doing that when you have lots of people together. That would be fun.
So for that, we didn't actually make them together. Everybody brought their dumplings. So everybody made a different recipe and we had like 10-course dumpling feast.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's kind of pleated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
So that it has to sit, like it sits. Otherwise, if it goes like this, then it won't look nice. It's all for like, so that it looks good. So if it sits, then when it cooks, it looks really pretty. Just for that. It doesn't matter, like, but it has, like, if it sits better, then it cooks faster. I think so.
And how far apart, I guess you have to put.
This is how he pleads.
That's more my style. Just. I
think mushing it together works. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it has to like sit. Other than that, it doesn't like really matter.
Now, it seems like you have a lot of space between them.
Yes. So because I think it swirls while it's cooking. Like the air just goes in. But when we take out, it just shrinks down. But it needs space to cook. Like it needs space to be cooked.
Huh. So it swells while it cooks, and then when it cools, it shrinks back down. Huh. I like learning stuff.
So now I will be putting the first batch. So let me show you. This is So it has to have a like steam, this evaporating kind of thing in it. It has to have a really nice steam when you put your dumplings in. You close it, and it just takes 7 to 10 minutes. But if it takes longer, then it doesn't go bad. So it's fine if you're like keeping it for like more than 10 minutes also, like till 14 minutes, it doesn't go like anything. It doesn't go bad. It still holds the same. So it's fine. But if you're cooking a meat, at least you have to have it for 14 to 15 minutes. So the meat like cooks really good. Otherwise it would be raw inside, because we will be using the ground meat. We won't be cooking the meat, so it needs to be cooked with steam. So at least 14 minutes.
So, so with the vegetable part, you can't hardly overcook it then.
Yeah,
because it's always got moisture and steam and.
Yeah.
Okay.
These are the vegetables you can eat as a salad. So it doesn't matter if it's like, if you like a crunchy, you can take out in 7 minutes. If you like it like cook more, kind of a dumpling kind of feeling, then you might want to cook it for 10 minutes or 10 to 14 minutes. And I can teach you another method if you don't have a steamer. It's like a frying. Also, I'll do that later on. After that. So now let me do the.
I can't help but think about it. Empanadas when I see these dumplings being made.
So.
I mean, it seems like a lot of cultures have something similar. I mean,
yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
You usually steam them, but do you have you ever baked them?
You can actually bake them also, yeah. But I have like never.
I wonder what happened if you fried them, if you deep fried them.
Oh, I think the Tibetan style has a version of that, right? They're fried or baked.
So every culture has a dumpling. A friend of mine wrote that paper for her master's. Like the Italians, ravioli is their dumpling, and then there's their dumpling. Every culture has a dumpling. So there are baked dumplings, there are fried dumplings, there are dumplings. There, every culture, every cuisine in the world, even American Indian cultures.
Yeah.
Now I will like. This is like my chutney. I think it's done. So I will just use a small. I have like a small blender, so I will be using that.
Yeah. They're gonna process the chutney.
Yeah.
I just want to say you have the same small blender I do, and it's super nice to see somebody else with it.
It's so handy, you know, like it's so handy.
I have one like that. My girlfriend doesn't use her, so I inherited it, but I still have the 3-cup like the other one she has also.
Because most people just use those to make like smoothies, right?
I know. Yeah.
I use this as like a smoothie blender, my chutney blender, everything. Like this magic bullet, it works with everything. So.
Yeah, I was making my chimichurri with it, but I like to make more, so that's when I got the 3-cup. And you can make it for, you can use it for hummus, which is nice.
Perfect.
I mean, yeah.
I don't have to go the second round. So this much chutney.
I think the big old, my ex was quite a cook, and we had a big fancy food processor. I think those have kind of gone out of style a little bit. I mean, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but
This is my.
Yep. I know that.
Yep, I've got the same one.
I got one of those too.
Is that what they call a bullet?
Bullet.
Is that a bullet is a brand?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, these things have all replaced those really expensive, complicated food processors, in my opinion.
This is like pretty loud. I'll just mute myself for a.
Okay, yeah. Wow, look at that.
Or I'll make the noise for her.
You know, the one thing I don't have, but I've been thinking about is an immersion blender.
I have an immersion blender and a magic bullet, and that is my blending capacity at home.
Yeah, I've been thinking about immersion blender because I don't have one, but I could see a place for it.
An immersion blender is great when you have to blend it up like that, but you don't want to take it out of the heat because you're going to continue to cook it.
Right,
So
you can blend it right in the
blender.
pan, in the pan. I like that idea, yeah.
I use it when I make my pumpkin soup. And
so it's up to you how thick or thin you want, but I want like a little bit thin, and then I want everything to be like really smooth, like paste.
Wow.
So I would be blending it more. I think I'll add a little bit of water to this, and I have this like leftover from here, so I'm just using this water.
Yeah. So you don't dilute the flavor because the water has some flavor.
Yeah. Cilantro is like
Little, there's always some stringy things in there. Yeah. Yeah, you can use that for like a frozen margarita.
okay, it's much better now. It looks more like a tomato, like chutney.
Nice.
And how long do you think that stays good for?
This is cooked, so you put it in a fridge. Maybe 3 to 4 days, I guess, because it isn't a raw. It's already cooked, so I don't know the cook food. Like we just use it in 1 or 2 days. So I think I'll just put it on.
Deepa, do you ever freeze that chutney or no?
I was thinking about that too.
We can actually, but it isn't as flavorful as it is spread.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually freeze it. You can actually use it as a curry paste also sometimes. Just make it and just put some oil, some vegetables in it, just water, and then it's like really good. You don't have to put like anything else. Maybe a little bit of salt to it. You can use it if you're making something like chicken, like marinated or kind of thing. If you add a little bit of yogurt to this, you can use it as a marinator or something.
Yeah, because it's got so much flavor.
Yeah.
Or for people who had to step away for a moment or two, I see that you're streaming this live on Facebook. Can they access this after you're done streaming?
Yes, it's so the Facebook page is Rice and Spice, and there's an event, so I'm streaming it to the event. So and I'll probably after the event share it to the page itself too.
Oh, yum.
All right, how many people, how many dumplings were there, and how many people? Quick, mail one to each one of us. You're still on mute.
Okay, so this is the dumpling. I'll show you.
Looks like there's maybe 10 per pan. Something like
Oh yeah,
10.
see, before it seemed like there was lots of space between them, and now they're
But
touching.
yeah, it's kind of like doing cookies. You got to separate them a little bit.
So I'm putting out of the bag. But while you're cooking, what you can do is you can stack one on the another. But right now, because I was doing chutney, so I didn't stack it. Because if you stack another one, what you do is you take out the previous one, and then it takes like shorter time. Within 3 to 4 minutes, the another stack would be like done already, because it's like half cooked if it's in the middle. So that's how we do it. Okay, let me show you.
You take the bottom ones out first because they cook first.
Yes, yes. And whenever you're cooking meat ones, what you can do is in 12 minutes, you can actually like put the bottom one, this middle one on the
Rotating,
bottom.
like rotating, yeah.
Yeah, rotating. So everything cooks so that people don't have to like wait. It will cook in like one time. Everything cooks in one time. So you all can enjoy at the same time.
They're
Otherwise,
already at the same time, already at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I wish I could like give you guys this balance.
A nice presentation with the dark, the white on the dark.
Dark plate.
I put a chutney on the side.
So you only steamed them for, it seemed like a few minutes, like 5 or 6 minutes.
Actually 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh yeah, when you made the chutney, huh?
chutney, so it was like steaming. So let me put the chutney on the side. Oh, I just I haven't tasted it yet because I don't know how everything like spices are now, but in our culture, what we do is we make it, and then usually it used to be like before, like you make it and then you offer it to God and then only taste. So that's how we do it. So whatever you make it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have an expectation it's going to taste like a certain way because every time it's got to be a little different, I think.
Yes, because I don't measure it, so every time taste is a little bit.
That's what makes it interesting.
Okay, I'm done with this. So let me show you. This is like the final presentation.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
So this is how we make like a steamed dumplings. I can show you other like roasted ones, but I can like just tell you what we can do is like let me just show you. I guess I have one that's empty. So So I have this. Like you can use a saucepan or anything. So I'll just put this in a medium heat. This is some like different way to make another way to make a dumpling. So let me just heat it up because it has water in it. So. Let me show you another way to make this. Anybody has anything to ask or something till we wait?
Well, can you eat one and tell us how wonderful it tastes?
That's a good idea, actually.
Like...
I really don't want to do this, but I'm sorry, guys.
You look so put out, so distressed at having to do it.
Yeah, because like you guys are here with me, like making this process, and then at the end, like it's me who's tasting.
We usually don't cook in front of a bunch of people. You good?
Yeah. Omar said you could just disable the video this time, like you've been doing the sound. My mouth is literally watering, remembering how dumpling tastes.
So is mine.
This is like good, I think. I liked it. I mean, I think salt is good. Spices are like coming out. So yeah.
So do you ever hand roll the dough, or you always just buy in the US, just buy?
Here you can buy it. So, but if you're making your own, then it's more flavorful, like this dough is kind of rubbery, but if you like make your own, it's more softer, like it just melts, because this, I don't know what they use in this, but it's much easier to make it. That's why I use this. But to make it like more flavorful, it's better to make our own dough. But it's very time consuming. Unless you have a party or something, I don't recommend to make it. Like just for one person, it's not a good idea. I think this is much better.
So someone said they had a pasta machine. I bet you could run flour through a pasta machine and make it really thin.
Yeah.
And then maybe, get a cup or a pot and just push out the circles instead of rolling it.
I was thinking of making ravioli with this as a filling.
I think that works too, I guess.
So yeah, I mean, you could basically, instead of pinching it like she did, you could pinch it in a square like a ravioli and use
exactly.
So Nepali ravioli.
Yeah. So the other way would be like just put a little bit of oil, like 1 teaspoon to it, and just spread it around. Just spread it around. You can use a brush or something if you want to, but I'm not finding my brush right now. Just trying to make it non-stick because it is a non-stick, so that's why I'm putting oil in it.
So you're just gonna fry them now?
Yeah, I will. What I do is I just heat the oil a little bit so that I don't have like the oil texture, like smell to mine. I'm not good with this. I don't know how it will turn out. I tried it once or twice, but it has like always been sticking on the bottom because.
So these haven't been steamed, or yes.
No.
No.
So This
No,
one you
these
didn't
are
make in a circle either, so.
Yeah.
no,
okay.
these are no. My husband did it, so.
Oh, okay.
But I think for
So
frying, it's better like this thin.
no, we don't actually fry it. We just what we do is like we just stick them out. Like what we do is let me show you. You just put the oil just goes in the between, so you just do this and then put it on the side. This way.
I see, to the cooler part of the pan.
Yeah. Yeah, on the center when the oil gets like
This is kind of
color.
like the Chinese pot sticker.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Definitely. So.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you're just slow cooking them instead of fast fry, huh?
Yeah, it's just gonna kind of crisp up the bottom.
It's just
Yes,
a pan
it does.
fry. It's just a pan fry versus a
Yeah,
So now,
immersion one.
but they have been steamed before, right? Or no, they
Yeah.
haven't been steamed.
no, they
Mhm.
haven't. See, it's already sticking
Yeah,
because of I shouldn't have like put it in between, but see, it's already sticking.
so that's something to remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
I'm
moving them so
not
they
like
don't stick.
yeah, it's because this is not non-stick,
Uh-huh.
so it's like really hard to make it in this. It's good. Open good. Oh, and my husband actually went to I think, or if you check on where behind your car, there's some momos I just made.
Oh,
You might want to try those.
we didn't say she lives like a couple blocks from me, so they just snuck some over and delivered.
Can you smell them
Yeah.
from your house, or
I don't.
if you're downwind?
The first batch actually. So what I'll do is I just
Yeah, that's not fair. You need to do that to everybody here, quick, like Santa Claus.
actually you can try it and then just let me know like how you like it. So
Should I do that in front of everybody now? That would be.
yeah,
Oh,
that
wow.
would be like you would be judging my cooking skills, I guess. So I'm just closing the lid and then I'll just let it cook for like 2 minutes by closing it. And then what I do is I add like half a cup of water to that. Like 150 ml kind of, so that some just this much amount of water would be.
I'm so happy. Look at this.
So jealous.
I think it might be already cold. You might want to heat it up because
No, it's still hot.
okay.
And
Just
look at it's got this little thing of sauce.
okay.
They're so beautiful, huh?
Or you can pin yourself as a second person when you're trying.
Oh well, I need to turn my camera off. What are you talking about? So, see my camera on my laptop isn't very good, but I mean, look at how it's got the little divot in the top. It's got
They're like
it's
flowers.
like perfect. It's
For
got
chutney.
like if I had it's just perfect little scoop. See, look, I scooped it and filled the top.
Yeah.
With the sauce. It's like a
Yeah.
little volcano. Oh, and now everybody's watching me.
The cover might be a little bit chewy, like a rubbery, because it's so rough.
So
Yeah.
I think if you buy the gyoza wrappers instead of the dumpling wrappers, they're a little thinner and less rubbery.
Okay.
There's like a lot of different flavors.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so I mean, really the only texture I feel inside was the carrots and the cabbage. Everything else has kind of basically just cooked and it didn't really have much of a texture. But it has a lot of taste of garlic and ginger and a little bit of spice in the background. But
And
that's probably the
Szechuan.
sauce.
Yeah, that's
I
a
put a
sauce.
lot of sauce on.
Okay. So after 2 to 3 minutes, we just put water to this.
So the second one was cooler and the wrapper was more rubbery. The first one actually was kind of like pasta, but the second one, definitely it cooled down a little bit and it was more rubbery. I'm going to stop eating in front of everybody.
So you could have
Ooh,
like
that
a
second
little,
one, I put a lot of sauce on and woo,
Oh, it might
got
be
some
hot maybe
spice. The
because I
second
added.
one.
yeah, because you had all those chilies.
Yeah, I added.
I'm awake now. Like I feel,
Okay, my second batch is done.
because it's like tell your husband very thank you because it's like raining and cold outside.
Oh, it is?
No, it's
Yep.
not. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
And
My
that was a
second
nice
batch
surprise.
is done. So this is the second batch. I have like longer and shorter like version. If you eat it like really hot, it's more like flavorful.
Yeah, definitely. The first one I ate was really warm and the outside had the texture of pasta.
Mhm.
The second one was definitely more chewy.
Yeah.
And so
So these are it.
all right.
Yeah, this is it. Oh, I need to check on that one, but I don't think that would be any good. Like if you have non-stick, I don't have like non-stick pot, so I had to
Yes.
cook that. But if you have like non-stick, it doesn't stick on the bottom. So in that way also like it works. But mostly if you cook like steam it and eat it like steaming hot, this is how you eat dumplings.
So you never make like a whole bunch of them and then steam them a few hours later, or?
What we like to do is like make stack it on 3 of them, and then the bottom one gets cooked, and then you start eating, and then second one gets cooked, and then you start because you want it warm.
Good idea, yeah. Fresh
Make it
off
fresh.
out of the oven.
Yeah, yeah, fresh out of the steamer.
All right, everybody wants to thank Deepa for doing this, and I'll stop the recording.
Bravo.
It's like
That was wonderful.
it's like
Thank
straight
you.
Wonderful.
straight
so
from your
much.
Oh, great
Wow.
job. Great
little
job.
kitchen.
Wow.
Ah,
And yep.
wonderful.
Looks so
Wonderful.
good.